now. Take a step outside and seize the day now. Set aside your worries, it's okay now. The sun is here to stay. Blue skies, feel the wind beneath you as you fly.
Hey YouTube, it's Janita with Blessed Dyepress Creations. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am coming to you with a fun idea or process. I'm starting a new series on the channel and it's going to be called Working It Out, Will This Work, Learn With Me, something. I don't know what I'm going to title the series, but this is going to be the kickoff of various types of videos where we try a process together to learn together. So those of us who are in this venture of starting our own business, we can kind of get down the road a little bit to where we're able to produce our own substrates and be able to make our own templates for different things that we want to offer in perhaps different sizes or in different methods that are not necessarily commercially available or very expensive if you go that route. So what I have in front of me right now, I already did a test run, but I unfortunately don't have it. I gave it away to the gentleman that ordered something from me. It was a test. I'm working on a canvas to sublimate onto actual canvas. I don't want to move the can because my camera is going to go out of focus with all this white. But I had down on the table a package of 14 by 18 canvas in the 5-pack that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to open this up and take one out. What I'm going to do today, well, I'll get to that in 2 seconds, but let me show you what we're going to be working with. So about more than a year ago, I purchased this Dypress solution from Amazon. And I have just never gotten around to making a video or trying it out. But I originally did a video that has gotten lots of views. People are very interested in it, and it's doing so well. So I figured I'd continue along with that, where I used a technique I saw from a young lady named J. Jo on YouTube, where she mixed this liquid Minwax polyacrylic with some water, made it into a spray solution, and sprayed it on cotton fabric material to be able to sublimate on cotton. It worked, and the colors came out nice and vibrant up until you wash it. When you wash it, it fades out and it looks a little faded. What do you call that? Antique-ish, or So, but it still worked. If you needed to press a shirt and just throw it on per se without washing it first, this is a great process. But once you wash the shirt, it is gonna fade out. And she did reach out to Minwax and communicate with them about using it on a shirt, and she said that the comment they gave her was, with the small portion that she's using for the application process, it shouldn't be a problem. Again, user beware, use it at your own risk. I nor J-Jo am responsible for any reaction or any situation that happens to anyone that chooses to go this route and use this on material or fabric or anything that's going to go up against your body or something that you might sell to anybody. Disclaimer, I'm not responsible for that. But it's up to you to do your due diligence and investigate and test things out for yourself. But it does work. It did work. It came out nice. So what my process was, instead of using it to put on garments for a client or my family or someone to wear, it would definitely be applicable if I were to make a banner on a particular piece of material that is not necessarily polyester, although most of the time yet. So to move away from that, I wanted to try this. Now, I actually already had the Dypress stuff before I saw J-Jo video with that, but I just had never gotten around to using it or doing anything with it. So today I'm going to take that step. I had already started, and the instructions on the Dypress process says that you use to begin with to treat the surface of a piece of wood or whatever you're going to use. You have to mix 5 milliliters of the polygloss with the remaining amount of liquid of acrylic paint. And for this, we're going to be using white. So I'm just trying to open up these canvases. I do have some 16 by 20 canvases already open, but I want to use this size because I want it to fit I really want to have a little bit of extra room on my heat press. So I don't want the canvas to be as big as my heat press. I have a, what is this? I have a Trans Pro 1620 Auto from Pro World, which is 16 by 20. So if I use the 16 by 20, the 16 by 20 or 16 by 24? 16 by 20. If I use the 16 by 20 canvas, it's going to go edge to edge, and I'm afraid the edges of my print won't get enough heat. You know, because those are the coolest sections of the heat press, right out to the edges. So I said, let me offer it in a smaller size. He wasn't hard pressed for it to be super big. So this 14 by 18 would be plenty size. That would be acceptable by the gentleman that is getting this from me. Okay, so what we had to do first is take 5 ml of the Dypress polygloss. Can you see that? And put it in. This comes with it. It comes with catalyst. They give you a little catalyst and a syringe. And they also give you a couple of measuring cups. And they give you the instructions and some what do you call these? Popsicle sticks. Okay, so right now I don't need the catalyst, so I'm going to put this off to the side. I just needed the 5 ml of the polygloss, which I have here. And then I'm going to be mixing that with the remainder of the balance of acrylic paint. They use this particular paint in the video on their channel, so this is what I went to Lowe's and purchased as well. I think this can was about $14 or $15. On Amazon, the polygloss, when I bought it last year, was $59.99. But if you go on the polygloss Dypress website, you can get the larger jug of that for $62 plus the shipping and all that other stuff. So I'm just shaking up my paint rather than stirring it because I only need a small portion of it. So I'm just going to shake that up. What I have inside of my, I took my old half a teaspoon, I think this is, of measurer to add to that, and then I'm just going to add the paint up to the 1 ounce line. So it's 5 milliliters of the polygloss per 1 ounce of liquid. So I'm just going to open this up with this paint can opener, and then we're going to add, it's going to go in. And add that up to the line there. I'm eager to try it on wood. I really am eager to try this out on wood and see what how that works for me. You know, because everything works in the video. When they're trying to convince you to buy it. But that's what this let's learn together, or let's try it together, whatever I decide to call this series, is going to be about. You know, we watch other people do it, but here is a non-bias. They are not sponsoring me. I really am trying this to see if it'll work for me and what I want to accomplish. So I'm going to put that away. I'm just going to set this off to the side for right now. I'm supposed to be on an online convention for another business venture that I'm doing, but the part that's going on right now is not a part of the continuing education credits that I need, so I can get this video done right quick. All right, and then just so that I don't waste it while I'm stirring, I'm just going to pour this off into a larger measuring cup. Try and scrape everything out. I don't want that. Put that over to the side, and then we'll mix. Mix it up really good. And in the video, the young lady that is on the Dypress video, she did 2 coats of this onto the wood. She was using some wood that they have purchased from the hardware store, local hardware store. All right, that seems to be mixed pretty good. And by the way, I am using to hold my tablet because my expensive camera is just too fancy to work. I will do a review of this after I use it a couple of times, but I purchased this on Amazon. I have it clamped to the table. It is very sturdy. It is very stiff. No shaking or whatsoever going on. But once I use it for a little while, I will definitely come back and do a review. But this is going to allow us to be able to have our recording station or video station set up where we don't have to move around a lot. We can do everything in one particular room, one particular area of our workspace. Okay, so I think that's mixed pretty good. What she did mention inside of the video was that you want to just use a standard brush per se, but you want to give the brush a haircut. So what you have to do is wet the brush to begin with and trim off any uneven fibers at the tips and then make it straight. I'm just going to go on in with this, pour it down. I might need to keep something in the view for this camera to focus. Okay, so we don't need the whole bit down in there. But that, I just have a what is this thing called? A trifold board down underneath. So I'm just going to paint it on in one direction first. I should have my lamp back there plugged in so I can really see and make sure I got it on. Look, I'm losing hair. I may need the balance of this to get it on a good coat. Okay, so we just paint that on in one direction. And if it's necessary, I see where I'm getting some little hair and fibers, and maybe I'm picking it up from the surface of this board. I thought I dusted it off, but I apparently did not. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the balance of this on here, because it seems, I was going to say I didn't need the whole thing, but the first time I did this, I used 3 8x10 size canvases, and I was able to paint all 3 of them with that one little container. But this is obviously a bigger surface. Plus, I want to make sure, what I think I observed in that first run with the 8x10, because I have it off to the side, I want to make sure that the paint is getting down into the fibers, because I noticed some areas of it did not sublimate well. It left like a white residue, which I'll show you. And she mentioned that you want to make a nice, smooth, even layer. Is it staying focused? If it gets out of focus, I apologize, but it's not much I can do with the white background. I don't have anything. You want a nice, even coat. And I have all kind of little furry bits inside of there. I'm going to attempt to get them out. And from what she said on the video, from the Dypress video, this will level itself out. You do want to make sure you use a nice clean brush, because I don't know what I got in here. It looks like a hair. We're gonna let this set up and dry. We'll take it outside and let it set up, but it's pretty damp out today. It's warm, but it's I don't know, not overcast either. It's a very sunny day, but it's not the type of hot day where you want something. I don't think it'll dry. It might pick up moisture out the air is what I'm trying to say if I take it outside. And it may not dry so good. Okay, I have a couple of little stray situations in there, but I'm gonna believe that, not for nothing, it'll okay. I'm just trying to go over it where I can see small imperfections. I'm trying to, like right there, there's something in there. Trying to get those out and then keep the keep it as smooth. See that? I guess it would be a better idea to invest in some quality brushes if you're going to do this, because you definitely don't want to go through this whole process and then along the way find little imperfections that you could have definitely avoided had you just used a better brush. I still see a couple of little things in there, but we are going to give it another coat, so I'm not going to focus on that too much. So right now we applied, where's my stuff? We applied 5 milliliters of the Dypress Polygloss to the balance of one with latex paint to make 1 ounce of liquid to apply to the canvas, and then we're going to let that sit and dry for as long as it takes to dry. And then I'm going to come back and do a second coat and go in a different direction so we can make sure we get it all up in the cracks and crevices and all the grooves. Again, there's something in there. Okay, let's make sure that that's good and clean. I'm not going to fret over it because, again, this is going to be my second go at a test run. I'm just bending down, looking at the surface of it and trying to make sure all of the surfaces are covered. And yes, it does appear that way. So I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to go and attend my my conference, my virtual conference that I'm supposed to be doing. And then we'll come back and do the second coat when I have some free time in between sessions. And then we'll continue from there with what the next step is, okay? So I'll see you on the other side of this situation. Thanks again for joining.